Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a high-energy breakdown of the tactics, the players, and the very realistic chances of the U.S. men's national team at the 2026 World Cup. We're going to look way beyond the headlines to see what's actually happening on the pitch. What if I told you the United States could actually win the 2026 FIFA World Cup? I know, it sounds like an absolutely impossible dream, right? For decades, the U.S. hasn't really been a serious contender for global football's ultimate prize. But after that explosive 4-1 win over Paraguay, fans are starting to truly believe. So we've got to look closely at whether a run to the final is mathematically and tactically possible, or if it's all just pure media hype. Section 1. The context hook. A historic tournament on home soil. Because, to really get the tactics, we first have to understand the totally unprecedented environment surrounding this team. Think about this. 2026 is going to be the biggest World Cup ever. We're talking a massive expansion to 48 teams, which just means a whole lot more knockout chaos. And it's happening right in their backyard, hosted across the US, Canada, and Mexico. Now, historically, the American sports landscape has been completely dominated by basketball and American football. But right now, the popularity of soccer is literally exploding. The arrival of massive stars like Lionel Messi and MLS has absolutely captured young fans. It's packing stadiums to the brim. The energy here is very, very real, and it's creating this absolute golden opportunity for the U.S. squad. Moving on to Section 2, evaluating the arsenal, key players and their tactical roles. Because let's face it, energy alone doesn't win football matches, right? Let's evaluate the specific roles of this really hungry new generation playing in Europe's top leagues. You really have to appreciate the tactical balance in this squad. You've got Christian Pulisic acting as the clear leader. He's incredibly fast, skillful, and just completely fearless on the ball. He's the guy driving the team's transitional speed. Right behind him, Weston McKennie operates as the absolute midfield engine, bringing this raw physical power to just control the center of the pitch. And then you've got Gio Reyna. His specific tactical role is to operate in those tight half spaces, basically using his sheer creativity to unlock really stubborn defenses. So when you combine Pulisic's speed, McKennie's power, and Reyna's vision, you're looking at the absolute strongest, most cohesive American core we have ever seen. But it's definitely not just those three. Alongside that core, you have incredibly dynamic talents like Tim Weah in the mix. And the thing is, these guys aren't just unproven prospects anymore. They actually have vital, highest-level European experience under their belts. They're facing elite global competition every single weekend. That transforms them into a highly capable and deeply hungry arsenal, just ready to prove themselves on the biggest stage. That brings us to Section 3, Tactical Breakdown, U.S. Tactics versus Global Giants. So we know we have the players, but how do they actually match up directly against established global powerhouses? This matchup right here creates your classic David versus Goliath contrast. The U.S. strategy relies heavily on their biggest strengths, blistering transitional speed and these lightning-fast counterattacks, designed specifically to punish teams who push too high up the pitch. And they back this up with incredible 90-minute physical fitness, which lets them sustain a really high press all game. But then you flip to the other side. You have the global giants. We're talking teams like Argentina, France, Brazil, and England. Their main advantage isn't always raw speed. Nope. It's world-class tactical experience and this ruthless, almost inevitable ability to capitalize on even the tiniest mistakes. Now, to bridge that massive gap in experience, the U.S. is armed with the ultimate equalizer. And that is the home advantage. Playing in front of millions of screaming domestic fans provides this monumental psychological boost. And tactically, this matters immensely. History actually proves that host nations frequently overperform. Just look at France winning the whole tournament back in 1998, or Germany battling all the way to the semifinals on home soil. A home crowd's energy can literally dictate the tempo of an entire match. But here is the absolutely crucial point. The margin for error at the very top is essentially zero. Because the U.S. lacks modern World Cup final experience, that pressure is going to be incredibly heavy. When you're up against these ruthless giants, literally one tactical misstep, a misplaced pass in the midfield, or a failed offside trap against a striker like Mbappe, and boom, it can instantly end your entire tournament. It's a terrifyingly thin tightrope to walk. All right, Section 4, the reality check. Can they actually win? Let's take a step back, remove all the media hype, and map out the realistic roadmap to actually lifting that trophy. If we work logically through the tournament structure, the path basically looks like this. First up, reaching the quarterfinals. Given their current squad strength and that massive home advantage we talked about, that is very possible. Now, pushing further into the semifinals, that becomes a solid maybe. It depends entirely on their draw and having basically flawless tactical execution on the day. And from there, reaching the final is all about building this unpredictable, completely unstoppable momentum. And hey, if you think a deep semifinal or final run is totally impossible, just remember that football is beautifully unpredictable. Just look back at 2022. Literally nobody expected Morocco's incredible underdog run. They shocked all the established giants by playing perfectly to their counterattacking strengths and just riding this massive wave of crowd support, which, if you think about it, is the exact same tactical blueprint the US is hoping to use. Ultimately, the formula for an American surprise really requires 3 specific things to align perfectly. First, their European-based stars, guys like Pulisic and McKennie, they absolutely must stay completely fit. Second, those millions of home fans need to relentlessly push the energy inside the stadiums. And third, the team has to maintain absolute belief in their tactics. If those 3 pillars stand firm, well, this American team might just be the next massive surprise to shock the football world. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. With their strongest generation ever, the ultimate home soil advantage, and a seriously dangerous counterattacking style, can the USA actually lift the trophy in 2026? Or will football's experienced giants inevitably crush their dream? Thanks for joining us, and keep analyzing the beautiful game.